Hi, this is Evan Jones, lawschooly.com. Today we're doing an explanation for Preptest 7, February 93, Game 1. This is a test from way back, but they're still very useful practice. This is the first one in your 10 actual LSAT Preptest compilation. That's the green book. Definitely grab that because these are good ones to use for, adding a fifth section to a prep test or, just knocking out early game practice and LR practice when you're just getting started. Okay, game 1 is super basic. It's a basic linear game. It's got a couple things to look at, which is that you have a couple blocks and they're bumping into each other, and it's good practice for getting used to working with block rules. So let's take a look. Okay, heading to the game. It's a basic linear setup. We've got 7 slots where we're going to be playing these six song tapes and this one news tape. For the news tape, don't do anything fancy. Just use N. It's a unique letter. You don't want to write out news tape or anything like that. So this is a classic linear setup with one variable going in each slot. Nothing fancy to see there. Looking at the rules, we have L must be played immediately before O. So we've got LO, and that's a little block. The news tape must be played sometime after L. So because it can't get sandwiched in there, it's clearly got to be after this block. So that's going to operate as kind of a unit, this block with its little tail that has to come after it. And then there's only one more rule. There must be exactly 2 time slots between G and P, and it doesn't matter which one comes first. So use your split option, G, P, and then 2 spots, and then G, and then P. And, if you want to, you can put that in the block here. So, sorry if that's not the best writing. Hopefully my art skills will improve a little bit as I do these more. So anyways, yeah, so these are our 2 rules, and they are just blocks, and the thing to note is that L and O is either going to have to be inside here or out front or out back. So these 2 blocks and how they sort of move together is going to determine a lot of the placement. And H and S are basically free variables. They have nothing constraining them. So they should be able to go just about anywhere depending on where these blocks are. So always kind of keep track of what your free variables are that can move around very freely, because a lot of the questions will kind of deal with where they can end up. Okay, looking at the first question, it's not an acceptability question, which is a little bit weird, but no big deal. It's asking if G is played second, which of the following tapes must be played third? So slap G in second, and then P has to be 2 away from it per this rule down here. And then if you're looking at it quickly, there's only 2 places L and O look like they could go. However, out here is no good because then there's no room for N. So you've got L and O here. And anytime you've made an inference, check if it answers the question for you right away. So yeah, it does. Which of the following tapes must be played third? That's L right here. So that's our answer, C. L must be third. Okay, question 2. The news tape can be played in any one of the following time slots except, and then you get a bunch of options. These questions are super easy. This is a very common theme. There's only 2 places N can't go, and that's slot 1 and 2, because L and O have to be in front of it. Anytime you've got like a sequence like this, the N can't be too close to the beginning, the L can't be too close to the N, common theme that you should recognize easily. So for this one, one of the answer choices is spot 2. Yeah, N can't be in spot 2, so that's our answer, A, 2. Okay, question 3. If H and S are to be scheduled as far from each other as possible, then what is the possible order for these first 3? 1, 2, and 3. Like, per our discussion earlier, H and S don't have any constraints on them. So I think if you're an experienced test taker, you'd have the intuition that, okay, like, why can't we just throw H and S as far apart as possible? And who cares about, which one's in the 1 spot and which one's in the 7th spot? That should be fine. And then, just try a combination here. G, put P there, L-O-N. That works totally fine. Does this combination with moving G and P back later work? You probably just want to check that right away. And then quickly you see that no, that's no good, because where can N go? So that combination's out. So this is our only possible order. And then we just have to look at what could be in the 1, 2, and 3 spots here. A, G, H, and L. Nope, that's no good. H can be first, B, S, G in the news. That doesn't look anything like what we've got. C, H, G, and L. Yeah, that's perfect. We could have H here. Remember, this represents H or S. H here, G, then L. So that's our answer. C, bam, let's move on to the next one. Okay, question 4, if P is played 5th, L must be played. So we slap P in 5th. We know right now, G can't be over here because that's spot 8. That doesn't exist, so we put G here. And then L can't be out here. Again, you get the L-O-N combination. That's not going to work because N needs to be after L and O. So only place L and O can go, here, glop. We're in, L's in 3rd, so that's our answer. 4, C, L must be played 3rd. Okay, question 5. What is the maximum number of tapes that can separate S from the news? The only way to have N be like far away from anything would be to put it at the end, because if you do L-O-N, it's in 3rd. It's going to be tough for it to be far away from S. So I slap N right at the end, and then you should be thinking, okay, well, why not have S just in 1? It's a relatively free-flowing variable. So the first thing you want to try is to get it as far away from N as possible. G, then you'd have P, L, O, and no reason why you can't have H here. That's another free variable. So this is an acceptable order, and you've got them as far apart as possible, which means there's 5 tapes that can separate S from the news. That's your answer. Answer choice E. All right, pretty easy stuff so far. This game's not presenting many obstacles. All you're doing is looking at how these 2 blocks fit together and getting practice with doing mini diagrams very quickly. Question 6. Which one of the following is the latest time slot in which L can be played? Automatically, from our earlier discussion about, blocks, sequences, this can only be here as the latest because otherwise there's no room for O and N, which have to go after L. So since I don't see any reason why it can't be here, I just try it right away. And then, let's see, we need our GP combo. It still has room to fit. And then in here is H and S, H and S. No reason to bother figuring out totally where everything is, but this is the only possible order with L late. And the latest time slot where it can be is the 5 spot, and that's our answer, C, the 5th spot. Question 7, let's see if maybe there's one very difficult question in this game, but I don't think there is. The time slot in which O must be played is completely determined if G is assigned to which of the following time slots. Here I think it's a huge time saver if you look back to a lot of the previous work that we've done and see that with this GP combo in the 2 and 5 spot, we saw that in question 3. This fully determines where the L and the O can go. Now, if you don't see that right away, you would be left maybe doing some quick trial and error work. But, obviously if you put G and P in the 1 spot, it's not going to look like very good for fully determining L and O because it can either be in here or it can be out here in the 5 and 6 spot. You're going to pretty quickly get around to the conclusion that this one works. The LSAT will have lots of opportunities to save time when you kind of remember to use your work, so always try to. But if you can't, getting really good at diagramming, doing many diagrams in various combinations quickly, you can often just make up the time. You won't get into trouble or anything. So yeah, in this one, if we've got G assigned to the 2nd spot, and P's here, that would fully determine L and O. That's not an answer choice, so it's if we have G assigned to the 5th spot, meaning P is here, then these two will be fully determined. So that's our answer. G in the 5th spot, and that's answer choice D. Okay, so pretty easy game. Sorry if this one was a little weak. We'll try and have much harder games as we go along with these explanations soon. So looking forward to doing this with you again. Take it easy. Bye.